Hi guys, Dave here, and it looks like we are, coming up on Back to the Future Day, October 21st, 2015. And, well, people were actually trying to make events online about, let's go find Doc and Marty, let's go see what's going on in Hill Valley, and see if they show up to see what's going on with the time stream. And people were wondering, since Back to the Future 2, how come we don't have people wearing double ties, using hover cars or hoverboards, or how come there aren't cyberpunks running around drinking Pepsi Perfect and Cafe 80s? Well, now that everyone's interested, and now that time is starting to catch up, I think I can finally reveal the truth as to what exactly happened. And, well, I have to take some notes here. You see, you're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you. But people want to know what the hell's going on. And you deserve to know. And I should know. Doc and Marty's not going to show up where you think they are and when they are. And that future hasn't happened because time, and that particular timeline, has been irrevocably altered. I gotta know, because I saw it all. If you take a look on the news websites, you can actually pinpoint something that happened on Monday, July 29, 2013. Now, in Tavares, Florida, there was an explosion at the Blue Rhino propane factory. Well, what people don't realize is the rest of the story. On that date, there was actually also a collision between a DeLorean and a phone booth in the time stream. This created a, how did he put it? Oh, let me look at the notes here. Oh yeah. A temporal hemorrhage in the flow of space-time. See, the way it's described, if you break the sound barrier, you create a sonic boom. If you break the time barrier, which two or more powerful time craft could do, you make a time boom. This led to time travelers spilling out off course from their usual paths of where they were originally traveling through in their timelines. And of course all of this happened near Blue Rhino. All hell broke loose. Thankfully the news didn't report everything. And, well, there was a lot that went on. I am sorry for everyone that was hurt or killed at that plant, the accident. But it could have been a heck of a lot worse. Let's see here. Killer Cyborg showed up. There was a guy that was possessed by some kind of entity, and he kept on talking to an invisible person named Al. Let's see. There was actually at least 2 TARDISes that had showed up, besides the phone booth with the 2 guys from California. And there were 2 doctors there. Well, 3 if you're counting the other one. Now, I kid you not, one of the doctors that showed up that night, I couldn't make this up, was a talking horse with a tattoo of an hourglass on his butt. Yeah, it was weird. Thankfully the Flash helped to show up and not only save a bunch of people, but also helped to get rid of the remains of the cyborg that was trashed. It could have been a heck of a lot worse. See, the time boom caused ripples in reality. It canceled out several colliding timelines out. This is how I was able to explain on my Flash videos how, when the singularity happened in the Flash, why time didn't just rewrite and completely erase or get altered. They canceled each other out. And then we actually got ripples of it. Remembering possible timelines that happened but aren't here now, that's the reason why we have the steampunk days at Renninger's and Mount Dora. It's also part of the reason why we remember Berenstain Bears growing up with an EI instead of what it's spelled now with an AI. So, sorry about that. How do I know all this? Well, I'll tell you. Because originally I am supposed to be Dave Hickman, future companion to the Doctor. That's why you see me walking around at various conventions with a sonic caddy full of various screwdrivers, prepared to help out the Doctor. That's why I have an anti-time device made out of parts of a Dalek, Cybermen, and Weeping Angel. And that's why my preferred sonic screwdriver is the transtemporal sonic screwdriver. It's one that's affected in several different timelines at once. And now it's part of a timeline that may never happen. If some of you are wondering about what exactly was altered throughout the timelines, canceling each other out, I can give you some information. Let me just go through my notes here. For example, in the original timeline, believe it or not, hemp was finally legalized and mass-produced. In the future that Doc and Marty went to, this actually led to a prosperous economy. Many lobbyists jumped on this bandwagon, actually. That's why fax technology was still so popular in that timeline, because of mass production of paper bills, thanks to hemp. Greater food consumption also led to hydrator technology, so that's why we don't have hydrators now. Conservatives were also pushing for better technology to counteract mind-altering drugs and love-ins, things like that. That's why we ended up getting hover tech and 4D technology, which now is being placed into augmented reality. So, there's that. Funny enough, the reality where Bill Preston and Ted Logan formed the band Wild Stallions, that was also the same way. It was also legalized. However, unfortunately, these two timelines canceled each other out. That's why we have the timeline we're in now. Also, if you're wondering about what happened to cybernetics, well, cybernetics were becoming popular, but then the frickin' Terminator showed up, and the time device that they have was actually taken from notes scrounged together from Doc Brown's flux capacitor. He felt really bad about that. He thought he'd scattered enough parts to where they shouldn't have been able to replicate it, but it took time. They eventually did. Fear that the Y2K bug was actually going to be Skynet trying to take over people, and this made a lot of military heads and corporations that were manufacturing cybernetics deathly afraid that suddenly people with artificial limbs or cybernetic implants that could connect to computers and things like that were actually going to start taking them over and using their bodies against their will. So cybernetics were eventually just kind of scrapped and put by the wayside, and not as advanced as they would have been by now. Funny story, there actually was a virus that did happen, that did affect a lot of people with cybernetics, turning them into essentially cyber revenants. But we don't remember that so much, but we do fear a virus infecting people and turning them into monsters, so we block out the cybernetics part because they're not relatable to us, and that's why we ended up getting the zombie craze a few years ago. So there's that. All of these are ripples in time, and yeah, I wasn't allowed to tell any of you guys this because, well, I had to wait for the time to catch up before I could tell anybody. But this is why I've always got my head in the clouds for different possibilities, other realities, other alternate worlds. That's why I like going to different places, people out of time, steampunk events. That's why I love a certain group of phantasmagorical performers out of Orlando that seem to have been around forever. Little things like that. It's my job to watch over people and time in this area to make sure that nothing else bad happens. I do what I can. I know, it's my job. Of course, it's a job that pays sucks, but it happens. But I digress. Now you guys know what's going on. But don't look at this as a bad thing if you don't see Doc and Marty, or see a blue police box and hear a strange sound coming for you. Let us all celebrate the fact that we remember such possibilities of the future so vividly, and keep that hope in our hearts as we move forward. Just don't be surprised if you don't see cyberpunks on hoverboards drinking Pepsi Perfect, okay? The future is what we make of it. And to honor the Doctor and Doc Brown and others, that's why I'm trying to put this out there now. Now you know the truth. Whatever happens in the future, hopefully I'll see you there. Take care, guys. Please, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, and spread the word. And yeah, the guys at Lego Dimensions, or Lego actually knows this, that's why they're just now coming out with Lego Dimensions. They're starting to catch up with them with the technology to properly tell part of the story. So now you know that too. Alright guys, well, I hope this explains a few things. If you have any other questions about alternate timelines or what should have been or about some of these people, please feel free to ask and I'll do what I can to answer. Take care. Peace. Yum yum.